Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to the broken Expanse. Today we'll be looking at the mystery surrounding blank room soup, something that for years has circulated the internet, giving creeps and chills to any and all who view it. A harmless joke, an art piece perhaps, or even dark web pre-snuff film. So turn out the lights, sit back, and let's get into the video. So, what exactly is blank room soup? Well, it's a video I'm sure some of you have either seen or heard of before, but for those who haven't, I'll put it on the screen now, so we're all starting on the same page. Well, that was it. As creepy as it is, it's simply a 1-minute video originally uploaded to the internet in 2005 by a channel called Renaissance Men. So, why does this video have so many people questioning its meaning and origin? It seems mostly to stem from the video's weirdness and total lack of information about any aspect of the video, compounded further still by the fact that it has been downloaded and re-uploaded numerous times, each time with no extra explanation given. And so each time, more and more people begin to try and fill in the gaps. The most prevalent theories to date are that it was originally taken from the dark web, that it is of a hostage, and that he was kept for 4 days without food, while possibly being tortured, only to be taken out of the room and force-fed soup. A soup that contained the remnants of the man's dead wife. I'm not sure about you all, but that doesn't really appeal to my taste buds. Now, you're probably wondering, is this true? Is he okay, or even alive for that matter? Who or what are the human-sized dolls? Who found and uploaded the video? These thoughts are exactly why the video had become so popular. The mystery of it all. So let's pause and go back to a man called Raymond S. Percy. Raymond S. Percy was born in 1975 and is primarily an animator, working steadily since the mid-90s. Most notably, he worked as a character layout artist for 7 years, for a little show you may have heard of called The Simpsons. He's also directed several episodes for the show as well. He's also worked on blockbusters such as Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph. An occasional voice actor, he was also the voice of Flash in Zootopia. Always the artist, however, he had a slew of more personal side projects too. One of these projects started in the form of doodles. Doodles that, on the topic of blank room soup, look very familiar. What he called rayray. Percy, as many artists do, had personified a part of himself, his feelings, into these drawings. The character's official bio states, "We create because deep inside ourselves, we need to. But how do we reconcile the need for others to see our art in order for us to feel like it matters? We create for the merits of art itself, but how do we deal with the fact that we need to be paid for our work in order to keep being able to make it? How do we cope with needing to be in the world, but often feeling like we're not a part of it? There are no easy answers, but in a lot of ways, rayray personifies the struggles inherent in these questions. At some time between 1998 and 2002, Percy collaborated with puppeteer and SFX artist Paul Pisteur and the performance group known as Mutator, of Burning Man fame. Together they took rayray and developed costumes made to be worn by performers, so that rayray could appear on stage and become a part of that aforementioned real world. The character was an instant cult hit, and is in fact still listed as a cast member on Mutator's website. Rayray was all over the internet in the mid to late thousands, at domains such as Rayray World and Rayray Land, as well as the MySpace page Rayrayville, Rayray TV on various video-based platforms, and upon YouTube's inception, Rayray Vision on there. The most recent of uploads was in fact as late as 2018, and I can't say rayray anymore without feeling very confused and tongue-tied. In regards to the subject of this video, with Percy being an expressive artist and being personally invested in the characters, rayray suits being crafted for live performance art, and a slew of videos being made using the costumes, you would think that Blank Room Soup would simply be another performance piece by the group. However, according to Percy, neither he nor anyone in the project had any involvement in the making of the video, and the first known upload was when the previously mentioned Renaissance Men channel uploaded it in 2005 under what was its original title, Freaky Soup Guy, with the description simply reading, "We don't know what this is." In 2015, YouTuber Rainbot attempted to debunk the video and went through great lengths to find the truth. I'll link to her video in the description below, in which she actually managed to get a hold of Percy himself. According to their exchange, there had just been a performance with the Rayray characters in a club on Hollywood Sunset Strip. The club's backstage was so small that they had to use an old van in an alleyway behind the club as their dressing room, which didn't have a lock on the door. After the performance, the crew was striking the set, and when they went to the van to eat, they realized a large majority of their rayray gear had been stolen, including 2 rayray costumes. I personally always keep all of my oversized humanoid costumes very securely stored away for this exact reason. A few weeks later, Percy says he received an email with an attachment of a video file on it. That video file, once opened, was, you guessed it, Blank Room Soup. He proceeded to share it online so that he could discuss it with his friends and colleagues. Thus, I believe we can summarize the identity of the original uploader, Renaissance Man, was Percy himself. He also notes that the 2 people in rayray costumes moved and behaved exactly the way they should, something that he asserts is very specific to the characters, and performers would have to spend weeks learning before they were able to don the costumes on stage. This is also odd, as at the same time there was very little footage of rayray online, as the majority of official uploads started around a year later, so it would have been hard to study them that way. One explanation is that they had been to numerous live performances, and thus learned the specific movements that way. Although, I can certainly think of another reason why the characters move as they should, but we'll get into that shortly. Percy also received and uploaded a second video, which he entitled Soup Torture, which I'll play for you now. As you can see, it's very similar to the first video. However, this video seemed to unravel a good few things for me while I was researching the topic. Namely in the production aspect. While the Blank Room Soup video has an aspect of reality to it, in that it seems possible that it was a genuine clip of someone being put through something awful. Soup torture plays out more like a movie. Consider these points. Why would the victim only scream as rayray reached him? It's a mostly empty room, with what you'd imagine to have a lot of echo. You can hear rayray run loudly even in the video. So, given that, the victim would have certainly heard him. Why did he not scream when he heard rayray run towards him, and only at the moment rayray reached him? On that note, rayray runs to the man and the screen cuts to black as the scream is heard. This is known as implied violence, and is something commonly used in horror-style movies to deliberately add suspense and allow the viewer's imagination to come up with what they believed to have happened. The video would have also needed to have been edited to go black after the victim is reached. Otherwise, we would see the aftermath of why he screamed, followed by someone walking to the camera to turn it off. And so if this were the case, the perpetrators would have had to have spent time afterwards editing the video in post-production, just for added atmosphere, which may be easy now, but remember, this was 2005. Glaringly, the victim would have also had to have been calm enough to cooperate for numerous takes, as these things never play out as planned in real life. For example, rayray may trip or not run in the camera's line of sight, or may be too fast or too slow for the wanted effect of the camera. The victim may even seize up due to fear and not scream at all, as is something that can and does happen in intense situations. When these types of videos are real, they're done in one shot, unedited, and then most importantly, released with one of two express reasons. A form of torture porn, where people can send money via untraceable currency such as crypto, to gain access to the video. Or they are made as a threat, generally in regards to gang-related activity. In both instances, the video would be longer and far more graphic, as to either sate the needs of those who'd pay to watch, or to put the point across to the intended target of the threat. As we can see with these videos, aside from being creepy, there is nothing. No gore, no torture, nothing explicit in any way, and so would fail to deliver for either of the aforementioned categories. Percy himself is known to use many different alter egos on YouTube and Tumblr to express himself, and he himself has said that the rayray characters were representations of his views on his inner self, that mix of wanting to embody art while having to balance corporate life. Is it not too much of a stretch then to assume that perhaps Percy, or rayray in Blank Room Soup, is a darker representation of the inner conflict in Percy's own mind? An art piece he created far back in 2005 that even he had dismissed a time after its creation, before it resurfaced a decade later. By which point, due to perhaps his feelings now having changed and now being in a better place, or his professional responsibilities not allowing him to be tied to something that had garnered so much negative attention, that he simply no longer wants to be associated with it, and therefore denies what his pain once created. We already know Percy's an artist. We know he created the characters, and we know the characters, in part, represented his pain. He was the first person to upload the Blank Room Soup video, and all we have to go on that it in fact wasn't him is that he simply says that it isn't. It is for those reasons that I have to say, I believe Blank Room Soup not to be any kind of dark web snuff film, but that it's an outward expression of an artist's angst in a time when he was struggling with everything he held dear. And that's it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, had your curiosity satisfied, and perhaps have a different perspective on an otherwise creepy internet mystery. Let me know in the comments, do you agree that it was Percy all along, or do you think otherwise? I look forward to hearing all of your views. Also, let me know what you'd like me to cover next, whether it be true crime, creepypastas, or more videos like this. I'm also on Reddit as The Broken Expanse, so please feel free to message me with anything on there as well. And if you want to spread a bit of love and positivity in the world, I'd really appreciate it if you click that like button, hit subscribe, And don't forget that little bell notification icon too. It really means a lot. Take care, everyone, and don't stray too far from the path, lest you end up in the broken Expanse.